Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I tell you, I'm so excited today. We have a returning guest, Miss Kalinda. She's in the green room. And I'm so excited to have her back on the show. She always brings such stimulating conversations. So I'm so excited to have her back. So let me get my shout outs out the way so we can get her on the air, give her as much time to talk as she needs. The first thing I want to do is give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of that 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. Well, I know people ask me the question all the time, why do I talk about my mentor so much? Well, because it's a message in that. And the message is that mentors are so valuable that I try to encourage people to get a mentor. Someone that you can count on, that you can have as a person that's your go-to person to help you when you're having rough times in life. Mentors can help navigate and help you understand some of the things that you may not understand. But having a mentor is so invaluable that I try to encourage everybody to get one. And then when you get one, I want you to get a show so you can shout your mentor out. Okay? I want to invite everybody to go over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to first notice that you can click on the Watch Live directly on the website and be able to watch directly from the website each and every live broadcast. So that's the first thing I want you to notice. Then the next thing I want you to notice is that I have advertisers. And we're going to talk about a few of the advertisers right here and now. RRJ Web. RRJ Web can help you if you've got a broken website or if you have an idea for a website. RRJ Web, you want to reach out to them. They can help you put all of your website ideas together. And he is one of the best out there. So I always encourage people, especially folks with broken websites. He does maintenance programs. So if you need to update information on a regular basis, he is the person that you can go to that can help you with your website solutions. The next person I want to talk about is Sir Synergy. Sir Synergy is helping people with solar panel energy solutions. If you are interested in finding out how you can save money with solar panels, you want to reach out to Sir Synergy and they can come out and do an evaluation on your business or your home and be able to help you find energy solutions that will help you during this time of energy switchover. Okay, everybody's going to solar panels, so this is the company you want to talk to, Sir Synergy. Reach out to them. They can help you today. Port Again Sam. Port Again Sam has been with me for 30 plus years. And out of those 30 plus years, well, maybe not that long, at least 15. Out of those 15 years, he brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And out of all of those wines and spirits, I'm sure you will find your new favorite wine. Because I tell you, he's got some new ones in for the holiday season coming up. And I tell you, oh man, I love the cognac myself. So if you like wine and if you like spirits, you definitely want to reach out and order yourself a wine tasting and find out what your new favorite wine shall be. Now, the last but not least, Prince Hunter Financial Group. The Prince Hunter Financial Group is offering people knowledge and information how to get into the stock market and or the forex market. If you want to know how people are making millions of dollars in those marketplaces, that's the person to reach out to. And he has a special for anybody and everybody that lets them know that you heard about it here on the Ask Dr. Ron show. 4 free classes. You can get 4 free classes that will help you understand what the market is all about. And I promise you, once you find out how it works, it's so much fun. I know people that won't sleep. They're steadily trying to elevate themselves in the stock market. So that's the advertisers, and we have so many more on the website. When you go over to the website, all you have to do is click on any one of the banners or flyers, and it'll take you directly to their website where you can get all the information you need about all of my advertisers. Now, like I said before, I'm so excited and so glad to have returning guest, Miss Kalinda, on the show today. She's been on the show before, and she has so many things that she's involved in. She's a whole enterprising entrepreneur all to herself. And I'm so excited about it because she's always got something new and exciting to talk about. So first of all, welcome back to the show.
Welcome, and thank you for welcoming me. Actually, I'm over here trying to make sure I get the YouTube channel out to people. So that's me segueing into always doing something.
Uh-huh. That's good. That's good. You want people to see you live. That's what's up. You know? Yeah. So the last time you were on the show, I mean, we talked about all of your enterprises, and just to give people an update, you want to give a recap. I know you just went out of town on one of your adventures.
Oh,
You
we bringing
know,
that up, huh?
yeah. Well, I know you. That was your skincare products, wasn't it?
Okay, so I did recently go to Georgia. I went to the 123rd annual Black Business Conference. I wanted to test the waters of selling my product in a different state. How would people interact with it and interface with me, and also getting great information and meeting and networking with a lot of different internationals. So we have people from Senegalese or Senegal from there, just different parts of Africa. I met some people that actually met a gentleman who has offices in Dubai and London, and made some great connections. And most importantly, networking with fellow minority individuals or individuals of color on their endeavors and how they are pivoting, how they are working to have their products sold not only in the United States but in different parts of the country, and then also how they're sourcing their materials. So that was a wonderful event. I I was received with open arms. I sold out on a few things, and it was definitely a warm and inviting experience.
Good for you. So would you go back to that place next year?
Absolutely. I actually
Okay.
took my niece. This was the first time my niece and I went on a vacation together, and she helped
Okay.
me sell the products. And we just discovered how well we work together and how well we piggybacked off each other to make the event be successful. So it was a great opportunity and a great time.
Good. 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 So now I know, like I said, you have so many things that you do. You want to talk about your other endeavors first, and then go back to where you really want to land up at?
So yes, I have a body product line called Succulent. Actually,
Okay.
I am in another cohort right now called 37 Oaks, and in this program, they again help you to streamline your items and to create a marketable and also a profitable business. I don't like to say use the word business plan, but strategy when
Mm-hmm.
trying to really take your business to the next level. So for me, it's important to always stay immersed and educated, um, and also abreast as to what's trending, what's happening, in this world, and what programs are available. So I think that a lot of times we get into business and we just feel like we have all the answers, and when we leave ourselves pigeonholed in a situation where we're funneling things through things where we can just get the information from somebody that's a subject matter expert. No need to reinvent the wheel. Just sometimes you just need to gravitate to what's out there and execute it and put your own little spin on it or not.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's what's happening with Succulent. um, with Undiscovered, I actually was just partnered with another organization. I'm not sure if I could share the name of the organization, but I just partnered with another organization in which they receive funding. I think I might have shared it with you personally, but they receive funding
Mm-hmm.
from the government and they hire people like me that have businesses. So Undiscovered is my graphic design business. So if you don't know it, I can build websites, I paint, and I do graphic and marketing design. So I partner with this organization, and what they do is they have minority businesses that they provide funding for. So people that are listening to this, if you have a business and your business requires assistance with marketing, branding, building, etc., there are organizations out there that will provide funding for you via a grant to help your business, go to the next level. And you don't have to be a nonprofit. I think this particular organization is targeting for-profit minority businesses. So long story short, I applied for an RFQ, I was accepted. So now my business has the opportunity to do design work or work in the capacity that I provided to them for other small businesses in my locality. So that's exciting. I actually met with my first client. So I'm looking forward to providing an amazing service so that, again, that's bringing in more clients in that area of design and creativity.
So
Um,
so let me be clear. So, so graphic design only is what you offer assistance to them, or do you do the marketing part of it too?
So I do the graphic design, the social media marketing, campaigns. This particular person, I'm going to be reaching out for to influencers to help with this initiative. So it's definitely something that is a well-rounded package. I do also have people that are part of my team that can offer videography and photography services. So that is something that I can extend out through my company. So that's another business that I maintain. Then you
Well,
already know. Oh, go ahead.
now you know I got to get my plug in there. Now you know I have this wonderful media outlet that needs marketing on an upward momentum level. So I mean, who I got to know in order to get some help from all of these wonderful services that you're offering. I don't think I need no graphic design because I ain't making no T-shirts or nothing, But I know that I can, definitely take advantage of, marketing on another. And since you got grants available, I think I need a scholarship, you know.
Well, I don't have grants. So for example, what you would do
Uh
is
huh.
you would apply as AskDrRon.com and say,
Uh
hey,
huh.
I have this production and I'm looking for funding to expand my production, and my area that I need assistance in is marketing. So once you apply, then they'll say, okay, we're going to partner you up with one of our subject matter experts, and that subject matter expert can come in and provide the services. And so then the organization will pay me. So you get the benefit of getting services I, I don't want to use the word complimentary, but that's what it is,
Right.
or as part of the government's initiative to help minority businesses grow and go to the next level. So that
Okay.
is what
Well,
this program does.
okay. Well, I definitely need that. When we get through, I'm gonna get that information. So, where would anybody else that's interested? Would they just contact you and you can point them in the right direction?
I would say to reach out to organizations like the Women's Business Development Center, the WBDC. The WBDC is located in different states. That is one, area that offers opportunities like this. Also, the Southland Development Authority. I'm in a Southland, so that's another organization that I would look into. But there are a lot of programs that are out there that you just actually have to do the research on. There is
Mm,
visibility in specific areas, but if you're not privy to those areas, you won't know about it, or you might just pass the email, by. You might get an email and it's like three paragraphs down. If you're a business that is making $250,000 and more, here's an opportunity to expand or grow your business to the next level, and these are the services we can offer. But it really, again, ultimately is about doing your research, doing your due diligence, and working with organizations like them that provide free services for small businesses. I think I've echoed this a million times on my Facebook pages as well. But there's a there's my website, urbanizedmove.com, and then also on Facebook, urbanizedmove.com, I do post information about what I see that's, emerging, grants that are available, and you can always reach me on both of those platforms. So
okay. Well, that's good. I just had to emphasize that using myself as an example. As a black man trying to get some help.
listen, wait a minute. You all do not get it twisted. Dr. Ron, before his name, it says ask. If you ask, you are a plethora of information.
Okay.
I think you over. Let me no, because let's clear this up. I was
Okay.
on a phone. I was on a phone having a discussion because I had a family member that passed about getting or raising some funds to help get the funeral costs covered. 5 minutes later, I receive a text with a phone number and details on how I can get the services done 90% of the cost lower. So ask drron.com. And he don't need no help, y'all. I mean, if I think the only help he need is you give him a conversation, but listen. Another example, my Jeep, I have a 2022 Jeep Gladiator. My Jeep has been in the shop for about 3 weeks now. For some reason, there was a recall on the rear differential and the transmission went out. And I'm like, they don't have a rental car for me. They don't know what kind of financial bind I'm in. Oh, all you got to do is contact this person right here and watch this happen. So ask drron.com. This is who I go to when I need advice, when I need to be pointed in the right direction. Let me segue back from your intro. Your intro talked about the importance of having a mentor, having
Yeah.
somebody in your background that can help guide you through certain situations. And I'm a firm believer that you should have mentors in different areas of your life.
Yeah.
Dr. Ron is my mentor. So when I have questions about business, grants, anything, Dr. Ron, Ask Dr. Ron has a response. That's my 5 minute pitch.
Well, bless you. That's all I can say is bless you. You know, I do have a network that goes far and wide. And I know all the people that I know are willing to help just with a phone call. If you call and say, "Hey, I need your help," they're willing to jump in. And that is just a fact of being a network person myself. I did a segment on my show From the Desk of Dr. Ron, and the title of the segment was networking. See, I have been networking a very long time, and I know a lot of people. And a lot of times people, those all those people that I know don't necessarily need services for myself, but for people that need them, I know how to connect A with B. And that's something I've been doing for a very long time as a consultant. I help people get to where they need to be. So you're right. I don't have a problem helping people. Never have, never will. So you're right. I don't mind connecting the dots together, just like you've been on this show many times talking about what you do. That's marketing. That's
Mhm.
letting folks know, what Kalinda does. And now let me tell you the advantage of knowing a person like Kalinda, since we throwing roses out. My mom had a question about Airbnb. And Kalinda is the Airbnb queen. So I put my mom on the phone with her, and she was able to give her the A, B, C, and Z of what needs to happen with if you're going to jump in the Airbnb industry. And my mom to this day is still trying to, sort out whether she wants to do that or not. But she took that information and ran with it. So, and then Kalinda has been in this business how long now?
It's going on 2 years now. So,
Okay,
um,
perfect segue for you to talk about it. Let's go with it now.
so again, we call it short-term rentals because Airbnb is just a platform.
Right.
There are other vessels or vehicles that you can utilize, and there's VRBO, there's Furnish Finders, but there are other platforms that a person can list their property on. And I don't like to say the queen, but I'm definitely grateful and blessed to have been able to experience this opportunity. And now I'm the queen of research, so I do my research, I do my due diligence, and then I'm an artist and a designer. So I think the benefit, but I wanted to say I think the benefit behind that is when I go and create a space, I create that space as if it's something that I would want to reside in. So I make sure that there's quality pillows, sheets, and just the different amenities available are things that people don't think about: dental floss, mouthwash, toothbrushes, and things like that. But in reference to short-term rentals in the area that I reside in, um, I can say that I am the expert out in this community because when I started, there might have been maybe one or two properties available. I think the last time I looked is about 24. I look and I see the different properties that are on there that have mimic what my space looks like. And, you know, I'm a firm believer there's enough out here for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So when you present yourself correctly, when you design and develop your space appropriately, and you set standards, you will never run out of funding. So I have been grateful and blessed to have started a second unit, and I also have a third unit that is getting ready to come out. It's amazing, also. Um, I've been through the trials, I've been through the tribulations. There is a learning curve that goes along with running this type of business. Um, you have to make sure that you have the understanding of what's charged. You have an understanding on how your cleaning services should be managed. Because I've had to fire quite a few cleaners until I got to the space where I'm at. You also have to understand and have a customer service oriented spirit about yourself, because you have to interface and interact with your clients or your customers. And my background is corporate real estate. I've been in corporate real estate for about 10 years. Right now, I'm in a position where I am the first minority and first woman in this type of position. And, this was no easy feat getting to where I am. And I've taken all that I have completed and done in past positions, and I've intersected it with the business that I am in, and it's become a passion of mine. So that's what I'm doing currently in the short-term rental world.
So let me
Um,
ask you a question. Don't go too fast. You know, you're going kind of
yeah.
fast there. So I heard you say, like I mentioned Airbnb. So Airbnb is just a website where you can post your short term rentals locations for customers. And then you mentioned the fact there's others. So do you list your properties on all of those websites, or do you get enough off of one website to be able to not have to worry about the others?
So I do multi-stat platforms because while you're waiting for one, I believe that you should always have more than one iron, iron in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So if you list your property on one platform, you run the risk of not getting booked. You run a risk of, so there's a little algorithm, and I won't share that because that's my sauce, my secret sauce. But there is
Mm-hmm.
an algorithm that I have actually calculated and learned mentally, because they have platforms that is supposed to give you pricing structure. Airbnb gives you a structure of suggested prices. I threw all of that out the window because I wanted to understand how their algorithm worked and what made sense for my property and what I should charge. And I've been successful with it, and I thank God I've been successful with it. Um, but there is a system that you have to understand in order to have your properties booked. I might have my property booked at 50% on Airbnb, but then the other 30 or 40% is on this other, the other different platforms. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how I, have an understanding of my numbers.
Okay. So now, I think I asked this question before, but since we're talking about it, I want to bring it up again. How do the neighbors in that area feel about you listing your three properties in their residential area with their children and things like that, they dogs, they cats, whatever, you know? So how do the neighbors in that area? Did you go around, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm finna make money. And whether y'all like it or not, too bad." How do they feel about that?
So, to be honest with you, I purchased my property. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring that up first because I think it's totally relevant. Relevant. I have purchased my properties, and by me purchasing my properties, I was very specific in the locality of my properties. So two of my properties, I don't have neighbors at all. Um,
Okay.
the third property, actually, which was the first property that I purchased, I have neighbors, and I'm a friendly individual, and I actually had the direct communication with them, and
Okay.
we actually came up with a partnership um, in this business. So I'm a designer, and I offer a lot of different things. So one person has a lawn care service and does things, so I did some work for him. And another person, I'm again that friendly demeanor, total transparency, and my listings are extremely strict, so I don't allow anything. So I think that partnership and that relationship that I have with them is what made it work. So again, I specifically target locations that have no neighbors, or if there's a neighbor, that neighbor is kind of not close to the locality. So I've been
Gotcha.
fortunate enough to find those types of spaces.
Good. Now, early on in the conversation, you said things like dental floss and things like that. So when you put your guest facilities together, so when I used to go, and I'm finna tell on myself, y'all. When I used to go to hotels, those fancy 5-star, 6-star hotels around the world, I used to be filling up my duffel bag full of, shampoo, mouthwash, all that kind of stuff. So are those are the type of things you're competing with what a hotel or a 5-star residence would residency would have when you go to those places? Is that something that you specifically went after to be equivalent competition to?
Absolutely. But to be honest with you, there's no competition when it comes to my real estate, my properties, because in hindsight, we might be a little bit more pricier in one end, but the benefits you get, you get your own private yard, you get a driveway, you get more than one space, you get more than 800 square feet. Or in
Mm-hmm.
hotels mainly it's 300, 400 square feet, so you get a nice size space location, you get a full kitchen, there are condiments there, there's a carrot there, there's games there, there's books there, they keep stealing my books. But um there are the flat screen TVs. So there are things that are in my space that are more attractive to. I mean, one of my spaces has a hot tub, so I try to make sure that the accommodations there are in no conquest to what a hotel would have. But
Mm-hmm.
again, in thinking about a short term rental, I did think about me going to a hotel and forgetting a shade, or, a razor blade, or needing mouthwash, or missing, not having toothbrush or toothpaste. And I made sure I equipped all of the properties with those amenities that they typically would receive in a hotel, so that they're not coming there like, oh man, if I stayed in a hotel, all I have to do is go down to the concierge desk to receive
Right.
what I need. So I do take those things in consideration when I'm sourcing what I want to believe or leave behind for my guest.
Got you. So now, when you say short-term rental, what is the average rental time period for, say, a guest that would come to one of your properties? Like, is it 2 days, 3 days, a week, month? What is the average?
So it varies. I would probably say the average is about 4 days, but I do have
Mm-hmm.
a 2 day minimum for my short term rentals. And I think what that does is it discourages the wrong type of individuals from staying on site. But I have been getting 3, 4 day, rentals as an average.
Okay. So now my next question would be like, if a person wanted to throw a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, would they be a person that you would want to, allow to come into your properties with that type of, because bachelor parties can get kind of wild, and bachelorette parties I heard are worse. So you know so now you got people that's going to be turning up, as the young people say, in your properties. Is that something you shy away from, or you okay with?
So I have really illicit rules and regulations when it in regards to having shindigs or gatherings. And there is one property in particular that I have like the cigar room in, so people, and it's 420 friendly. People can smoke in there. People can have little kickback settings, but there are guidelines and rules that are um, in place. So I've had a couple of events there. And for my property, I require that they source my security guard. So I have a security guard that would come
Mm.
on site, and they would stay at the party for the entire duration of their event. If you have a certain amount of guests over my maximum amount allowed before security comes on site, then you have to pay additional for that, and then you also have to pay an additional cleaning fee. So I mean, there's an old saying: you can have what you want, but you have to pay to play. So if
Mm-hmm.
they can't afford um, the fees, then my space is not for them. And I don't deviate, and I don't allow, oh, please, there are other people that will accommodate that, but I'm very strict in that regard. And I do
Right.
have cameras
Oh,
all
okay.
around my property. The one property that I did said that I have neighbors at, they've even installed cameras for me so that we can keep a close watch on that, because there are fines and police can be brought in and it can be removed from my property, you know.
Okay. Now the security. Now, how does that work? So, is it a private security team? Are you hiring the local police, or, how does that work?
So I hire a private armed security guard
Okay.
to go to the site. They go in, they introduce themselves prior to the event. They walk through the space, and then during the event, they go in and again, they maintain or make sure that the space is being managed appropriately. I
Mm,
give you an example. I had a lady reach out to me today, and she said that she wanted to throw her sister a sweet 16 party.
okay.
It was that allowed? So I said, we will allow an event, but there are some requirements. I need to know how many people you plan on hosting at my property, and there's a security fee if they have over a certain quantity, and then there's an additional cleaning fee. And she's like, well, I'm not going to get myself banned, that's okay. And I'm fine with it. Like, some people think, because they say, oh, that's okay, I'll go somewhere else. Please go somewhere else, because I rather keep the peace and make sure that I am maintaining a safe home than to be the next short-term rental on the news because
Mm,
somebody's child was killed, or there was an incident that had to be broken up by the police. So I'm very cognizant and aware, and especially because this is my community,
mm-hmm.
I'm very strict when it comes down to specific requests.
Got you. So now, your place, does it have like a pool? I heard you said jacuzzi indoor, but does it have like an outside pool, tennis court, stuff like that,
Oh no! Listen,
pickleball?
listen, listen. This ain't the Four Seasons now. Yeah, that's a hot tub. But there are some part of my research is I look at my competition. I look at what's out there and what they're doing. And I've seen some amazing places that have pools. I've seen some places that have like backyard yurts that I think is incredible. It's just not my space yet.
Okay.
Having a pool is a whole nother monster because you have to have a specific amount of, um, daily income coming in to maintain a pool. And
Absolutely.
maintaining a hot tub is hard enough because we have to drain it constantly. We're constantly treating it to make sure that it's sanitized for our guests. I mean, again, if I don't feel comfortable walking into that space, and I mean, I tell you, I sage the space. I make sure that if I'm available and I'm there, that I walk through it every time my cleaner's finished, just to make sure that it meets my standard. If I can't do that, then I don't even want a guest staying there.
Okay. Now, I hate to think of what's going on in that hot tub, but you know, when you do your inspections, you do it with your guests, and then after your guests leave, or
No,
is
I
it
don't meet
is
the guests. So I have the way that mine is. A lot of people like to have. They love Airbnbs because it's not intrusive.
mm-hmm.
So people can go in and they can check in on their own. I've met some of my guests, and oh my gosh, when they meet me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Let's be best friends." And I've had some guests that have stayed with me so much that they call me up. I'm in town. Let's have wine. And I've met some wonderful women who are film producers and interior designers and stagers. So I've met some amazing individuals. Um, we had the PGA, the BMW PGA tour,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the opportunity. So I did this business with my best friend, business partner, also, and we had the opportunity to meet Chris Kerr's coach, and we walked around with him at the BMW locality, and he gave us tickets. So there are some perks to this, especially when we have emails and conversations like, hey, we're doing a film on for this movie for such and such and such and such. You have to sign an NDA, but we want to utilize your space. Like, we've had some amazing interests and opportunities with the short-term rental business. So I don't meet my guests in the beginning unless they contact me and I need to rush, run and see them. But again, we know what's happening in the property because everything is digital. We have data, we have cameras, we have the security lock system, so we know when people are going in and out the house. And then we have our turn down time when that guest leaves to make sure that the property is in good standing so that we understand if we need to charge them extra or not.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you a question. With all of the services that, like you said, the Airbnb websites, Which one has the best as far as fee schedule? So, like if you're using Airbnb because that's the most common one, how much do they make off of your property for booking a guest for you? Because that's a good question for people trying to figure out which one to go with.
And so, are you in terms of the guests themselves?
No, no, no.
VRBO.
Like say for instance, if you charge $2,000, I'm just throwing a number out there. How much of that $2,000 Airbnb keeps as their fee before you get the balance?
So Airbnb collects 5%.
Okay.
VRBO is a platform that collects a lower percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it just depends. And this is where I bring up my business urbanized move, where if someone has questions and needs to know some more data and they don't feel like doing the research, they definitely can book a consultation service with me and we can go over those numbers and go over that information. But all of this data is available on their websites, and if there's nothing out here that you can't find on the Airbnb platform or the VRBO platform that explains those percentages and things like that.
Okay. So is there an organization, like a national organization that's in place that, for you all to have like support groups? Because I'm sure you all have horror stories that you like to share with each other. Like, oh my God, this happened to me, keep y'all from losing your mind when you're in this type of business. Is there an organization or a support group?
Absolutely. You know what? You can go on Facebook, and there are a ton of communities on Facebook where you can ask questions, get suggestions, post your horror stories, get advice. Um, Airbnb has their own community where you can
Mm-hmm.
have those same conversations as well.
Okay. All right. So did I cover a lot of stuff? I know you wanted to talk about your this particular business even the more on this show. So did I cover everything? Did I leave anything out?
You know what? So Airbnb just introduced a program called the co-host program, and that's something I kind of wanted to have a conversation about. In which now, if there is somebody that is local to my community or local to a specific community that is thinking about getting they're turning their home into a short-term rental and they don't know where to start, or they want a short-term rental because they want the additional income stream but they just don't have the time. The co-host program was created so that you can actually reach out to Airbnb superhost and hire them to manage your property. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something definitely that I am available to do in my community, in my area. I can also assist with staging. So staging is key. Staging is what and your wording is what helps keep you in the algorithm. So understanding what people are looking for, price prediction and pricing. There's companies like Price Labs that specific system you pay a monthly fee for, and what it does is it adjusts your prices up and down based on what other people are charging in their area. There are services like that that are available, but those are services also that I offer. So again, I want to kind of put myself out there in this community so that if there are individuals that are looking to get into the business, they could book with me for a 15-minute free consultation. And then I would also provide, an hourly paid service if they want additional feedback and information. The benefits of having a Ask Dr. Ron in your life is if he asks those type of questions, it's just, oh yeah, this is what you need to do, A, B, C, D, hence why he brought up his mom. So he getting perks. But no, seriously. So I definitely enjoy the staging portion of it. I definitely enjoy leading people and giving people the nuggets they need to get their business started. And if they needed ongoing services, if they needed, again, any type of a la carte services, that's something that my company, Urbanized Move, can do for them.
Yeah. Now let me ask you another question. What about insurance? What type of insurance do you have to carry on your property? Because is this considered commercial at this point because you're making money? What kind of insurance do you need to carry?
So it's the same thing as having a renter.
Mm-hmm.
So Airbnb and VRBO both have coverage programs. Airbnb, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
is about $1 million. So that if there are incidentals in your property, you can actually, initiate a claim. I've initiated claims before if something's broken or if something is damaged, and they reimburse you if the guest is unable or refuses to, provide you with the reimbursement. You just have to provide your proof. There are also companies where you can apply for additional insurance. So sort of kind of like of a certificate of insurance for a product line, or you can have an insurance extra additional coverage for your business. And there is short-term rental insurance available for another additional monthly fee.
Mm. Now, let me ask you this. This is going to be a hard one because I know you're a mother. You know, would you be comfortable with people bringing their baby kids to your property?
Listen, I don't see what's happening in my property at all. It's not my position to judge. If they damage something, guess what? They have to pay for it. You know,
Uh,
this is not a business that you can get in and think that, you're going to get all this money and it's going to save your life. You might get somebody in there and damage a couch. You got to be able to, you got to kind of be able to, what they say, pay to play. So if
yeah.
somebody damages your couch, you might need to go in there and buy a new couch. You'll get reimbursed, but their reimbursement is not overnight. It could take 3 4 days. It can take a week. I can say to you, Airbnb is extremely quick. If you provide them with all the information and you provide them with the supporting documents, they are extremely quick in placing the reimbursement back for you. So
Good, good, good. Well, what would you say is the drawback for this business? Is there a drawback? Like, what would be the biggest thing? Like, ooh, uh, make no mistake about it. This is the biggest fear or the biggest drawback to getting in this.
so there, I kind of hinted on rental arbitrage earlier today. The
Mm-hmm.
drawback, so in purchasing, so let me take it back. The reason why I purchased the properties that I have, is because I'm already coming in the door with equity, and if there was ever an issue where I just don't want to do the business anymore, I could rent out the space normally, or I could sell the property for a profit. The drawback for people with rental arbitrage is you get into an apartment where you have a lease with somebody, and let's say you're not getting booked. And I guess that's the drawback with any business. If you're not getting clients, you're not receiving income. If you're not receiving income, you are paying out of pocket. So that's drawback number one. Drawback number two for those rental arbitrage individuals is you can get into a property and the landlord says, "Hey, I don't want to have Airbnb in my property anymore." They can shut you down. There's nothing you can do. You can get into a property, nobody's coming in, and you're not able to sublease to somebody else. You're still responsible for paying that rent every month. That can
Mm-hmm.
happen to you. You can get into a location like Texas. There was a specific town in Texas that kept having issues, and upon having those issues, Airbnb was banned. Well, if you
Mm.
don't know about the different platforms, again, you're stuck in a position where you're paying the rent for something that you can no longer monetize off. So that's the biggest drawback. Again, not to just short-term rentals, but to any business.
Gotcha. Okay.
Last
I
but not
know.
least,
Go
not
ahead.
understanding how to pivot. And I
Mm-hmm.
say that there are other creative alternatives that you can invest your time in and invest your knowledge in to keep your property afloat if short-term rental wasn't available. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, that's when you have companies like me that can direct you to what those other channels are, or you can do the research yourself and figure out, how do I bring a renter into my property for 5 months and not run the risk of having a tenant that now, because after 30 days you are you're hit with tenant rules, tenant regulations, tenant laws, meaning you gotta pretty much sue them or evict them to get them out your space. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand what are some other alternatives that I can utilize in order to rent my space out without being impacted by those tenant laws. So again, there are different opportunities out there. You just have to understand what those are, how to initiate them, and again, most importantly, how to pivot when you're in this business.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So,
I
I
hope that's
think
a
we
hot
covered.
date texting you.
No, that's actually my guest for next week.
I
He's
hope that
checking in
guest
a
for
whole
next
week
week is a
long.
hot date.
Look. He's checking in a little early. I'll give him a call after the show because he was. I needed to make sure he was going to be able to do it. He just went through a health issue, but I think he's going to be all right. So I think we covered a lot of territory in dealing with this type of business. Um, I think we answered a lot of questions. I know you mentioned something when you talked to my mom about this type of business was that in the city of Chicago, in particular, there's certain areas that they only allow so many of these type of properties in certain parts of the city, and then that was one of the things that she was going to have to do, find out if she was able to do it in her community or not. So
Yeah.
you are such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this industry, and I know it was very informative for her. So you want to touch on that just a little bit, like a city like Chicago and the limits that they have?
So just briefly, you have to have a license in order to operate a short-term rental in the city of Chicago. And again, there are stipulations on the number of short-term rentals. So, you know, you have to be owner occupied in a building if you have a 3 unit. If you have 5 unit and above, you don't have to be owner occupied. But again, there's only a specific number of units in a building that you could utilize for short-term rental. So those are just a few quick snapshots into how the rental world is in the city of Chicago. The north side is booming still, and there are some north suburbs that are booming still. But again, you have to understand what those the criteria is. There are some things that you need to be mindful of, and then again, things like if you're going to go buy a building, buy a 5 unit, and list two of those properties instead of or three of those properties instead of buying a 2 unit and you having to live in one and the only and not still being able to lease out or short term rental out the other unit. So
Yeah, just a lot of homework, and you are the person that can help a person if they're in this area. Now, do you do national as well, or just in this area only?
I haven't gotten into international. The next thing that my next phase is a different state. I actually, flew out to a different state and talked about it, and I'm looking into branching out into that specific state. So more to come on that. But I am looking into opportunities in which, you know, um, the business can grow not only in Illinois but different states.
Good for you. Did I tell you I'm proud to know you?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many different things going on, and some folks won't even get up and do one. And you got a variety. You got a whole plethora of stuff going on. I mean, just so much stuff. You ain't even trying to slow down. And do a day job and be a mother too. You know, so proud
I
to know
thank
you.
God. I thank God that everything that I do is interconnected. And I thank God I didn't listen to the people that says, "Oh, you're doing too many things," or you hear the same thing, master of this. You hear so many different sayings about what people are and aren't capable of doing. And when I look at what I do in totality, they all mesh. My job is real estate. My company is real estate. I live a natural hair. The products I use it on my body and skin. My children use it, family members use it, and my customers use it. I'm always telling people, I hate to say it, but telling people when they're sick, did you take some ginger, get some sea moss? I have a cousin that's the same way, Chris, who's always he's a vegan, all 100% vegan. He's always making suggestions. So a good friend of mine, Bonita, I call her family. Bonita, I call her BT. She is vegan and she has that lifestyle. So I surround myself around individuals that have that same thought process. I live that lifestyle. I embody my products. I embody my creativity. I embody the design, and I enjoy the real estate. So when you're doing things that are interconnected, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like it's overwhelming. For me, it's like things. I'm just getting started. Let's keep going. Let's do this.
All
And
right now. Yep, absolutely. Well, I just want to encourage you the more and trying to keep as much information out there about you as possible. Did we cover all of your entities today? Anything did we leave out? Because we got a couple
I
of
think
minutes
we
left. We got
talked about
about two or
Divine
three.
Intervention Properties, which is my short-term rental business. Urbanized Move is the staging real estate holdings company, and also co-hosting platform. There's another venture that you know about that I've been working on a background on getting it managed and going. But hey, God might say, you know what, I have something better in store for you. So, I work through things, and I also try to take a moment to just sit back and just listen and understand what's the best move for me. um, I'm making sure that I'm consistently educating myself and learning in different areas so that I'm a better communicator, a better leader, and hopefully somebody that's able to employ multiple people. Like I have people that are already, in staff and helping me with the business, and just being able to do more of that and be a model for individuals out there that are considering starting a business. Like I'm a single parent mom, and I think it's imperative that people understand that, because it's letting you know that there's no obstacle out there that can stop you from, meeting and reaching your vision and your goal and why you were sent to this earth in the first place. And then
Absolutely.
last but not least, I thank God for my faith. I thank God. And don't get me wrong, there are times I'm like, what is happening? But I thank God for always sustaining me and giving me favor in so many different situations. And I thank you for allowing me to come onto this show. Some people say or might think, oh, I've been on a show before, I don't need to go. But I see this as a continued learning opportunity. I see this as a continued opportunity to practice speaking and communicating, and also providing advice and snippets and just encouragement to other individuals that are watching your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you're welcome here anytime, as often as we can work it out. You know? So, look, we got to get out of here. So, I always like to ask a couple of questions before we go. The first question is, are you going to come back and see me again?
Absolutely.
Good, good, good. And the next question is, what would you like to leave with the people before you get out of here today?
There are going to be obstacles, and there are going to be challenges that you are faced with. And it can be personal, it can be physical, it can be with friends and family members that are close to you. Just keep striving for success, keep pushing, and faith of a mustard seed is all you need.
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule. You keep up the great work, and anything I can do to help, I say it on the air so you can always play it back to me. You say it. Anything that I can do to help, I will do that. And I think you know that already. I'm not beyond making a phone call, to try and help further your endeavors, because I believe in you and I want to encourage you, help lift you up as much as I possibly can. So you keep up the great work. So you
I'm
stay
gonna be a
right there.
multi-millionaire with you. I'm already a
Huh?
millionaire. I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you stay right there. We're going to end the show. I want to encourage you all to join me tomorrow on Wednesday. Come out and check me out every Wednesday on Street News Now at 12 noon for the noon report. please don't hesitate to come see what we're talking about, the latest foolishness in the world. Also, each and every Saturday, join me for From the Desk of Dr. Ron. Each and every Saturday, I give you what's on my mind and on my heart. So definitely come and join me on Saturday. And I want to thank everybody that have made contributions and donations up to this point in time. Thank you all so very much. These are all the ways that you can make contributions. And I want you to subscribe, like, and share. Please spread the word. This young lady has given you a whole lot of information, and I'm sure you and others can use this information. So get it out there. Spread the word. Thank you all again. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on Street News Now. You take care, be safe, love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.